Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That's going to be the red R towards the bottom right. Leave us a like, give us some comments, let us know what you guys think about these videos. So today guys, we're going to go ahead and print on wood. If you guys saw our short clip, we did a little prints on some wood. So today guys, we're going to go through the whole process. Now we got two little planes of wood here. We're going to put them on the edges here towards the left if you're facing the printer. So one on the very top, one on the very bottom. And we're going to go ahead and measure our little woods here. So our planks are about 6.5 inches by about 5 inches wide. Okay, so now that we got a dimension of our little woods here, let's remember that our plats in here, it's going to be 12.5 inches in width, and it's going to be 18 inches in length. So that's 18. So that's the size that we're going to make our canvas, our printing area in Photoshop. Now we got to make sure we measure the distance between these two, so we're going to go ahead and measure that up, and we're looking at about 4.5 inches. So the space between both of those is 4.5 or 4.5 inches. Now getting this measurement, we're going to go into Photoshop and we're going to create our file to print on these two pieces of wood at the same time. All right guys, so let's go over to our computer. Alright guys, so we're at the computer. Let's go ahead and open up Photoshop, and we're going to create a new canvas or a working area by going to Windows, New, and we're going to go ahead and change this to inches. We're going to make our width 12.5. The height, we're going to make it 18 inches. Make sure it's transparent and press Create. Now we're going to go ahead and bring a graphic into this one here. So we're going to go ahead and you can do Load or you can just do Open. I like to press Open on here, and then I select my graphic. So I got my graphic here. So I'm going to scroll this window down. I'm going to use my crosshairs here, and I'm going to bring my graphic in. Okay, so now to resize my graphic, I'm going to go ahead and grab one of the little corners here. And you guys can see on top, here's my dimensions. So I'm going to go ahead and make it 6.5 inches high. And the width, we're going to make that 5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and place this in the very top corner. I'm going to make a copy of this by pressing Control-C and then V. And that should make a copy of this. Let's see here. So got it selected, Control-C and V, and there's my copy. I'm going to go ahead and bring this to the other corner down here. Now I'm going to check the spacing between these two. So to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and make a little square here. And I'm going to make sure it's 4.5 inches tall. So there's my little square there. My little crosshair tool here, I'm going to put it between the graphics. So you guys can see that little purple line there. That means it's centered. All right, so you guys can see I got a little bit of spacing here and up here. Again, I got my crosshair selected. I'm going to select my layer here, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring this up a little bit close to that one. And then my second layer, which is the top one, bring that down a little bit. Now, it might take you a couple of tries, guys, just to make this line up. But once you got it lined up, you can just save that file or save those settings, and you can use them again and again to print out some more little pieces of wood. So for right now, we're just going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. So I'm going to select that one and delete it. And I'm going to save my graphic here. But before I do that, I'm going to merge my layers. You guys can see here I got 3 layers. So I'm going to make those into one. I got 1 layer. Now I can go ahead and save this as a PNG. So save as PNG, and we're going to call this file test number 1. Test 1. I already got 1, so let's go with test 2. There we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save this up, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up color gates. All right, so I got a color gate here open. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my graphic in as a con shirt, and then we'll do some settings adjustments right now. All right, you guys can see here's my file. I'm going to go ahead and center this. And then I'm going to do a little bit of settings adjustments. I'm going to go ahead and change my background. So you guys can see I'm not going to print any black or white inside the graphic, but I am going to do some changes here. So I'm going to select my file. I'm going to keep it at 16 pass, but I am going to go to my advanced settings. And since I'm printing on a piece of wood, I don't want to use too much white ink here. So I'm going to bring this down to about 60%. I'm going to turn off my white highlights. I'm going to keep my choke at 2. I am going to change the amount of enhancer that I use. I'm going to change that
from 35 to 20. And the number of passes, I'm going to take one layer of white. So this is white here. I got 2 layers. I'm going to go ahead and turn that to 1. And I'm going to go ahead and send this over to the printer. So let's go ahead and send that. Oh, not all of those. Send that over. All right, guys. So while that's getting over there, let's go over to the printer.
All right, guys. Now that we got our file sent over, we're just gonna go ahead and double check our little wood pieces here, make sure they're still aligned. I'm gonna go ahead, guys, and open up the lid so you guys can see how this is printing. And I'm gonna use my little 3D printed jigs right here, one over here. Now, if you guys want some of these jigs, please let us know. We can always go ahead and email you. I mean, not email you, but we can send you guys some. If you guys provide us a shipping label, we can go ahead and get those sent out to you. Now, on my screen, I'm going to go ahead and do my height adjustments. Now, guys, when you're doing this, always make sure that you have a piece of material closer to the edge of the table, because the laser reads right here, closer to the bottom of the table. So you want to always make sure you have the material towards the bottom so it can level off correctly. That you guys want to use once it's done printing and you hover dry it for 30 seconds. You guys can get this and a little piece of wood at your local Michael's or your craft store. So let's go ahead and press print on here. And then I'll take you guys over so you guys can see how the unit is printing the enhancer or the pre-treatments. So there it is. And then once it's done, it's going to come over to the color and start printing the white and then the color on there. Now, guys, my measurements might be a little off, guys, so it might take 1 or 2 chances or tries to get it right where you want it. But let's go ahead and check this out. You guys can see there, now it's printing the second piece of wood. Now, this is something really awesome you guys can do for like Christmas to make little coasters or, you know, some little souvenirs for family members or to sell. All right, so there it goes. Right there, it's rescanning my material just to make sure that it's not going to come in contact with the carriage when it prints the color. All right, then right here, we're going to get the white ink printing on there. Let me show you guys what that looks like. Now, we're only doing 1 layer of white, guys, because, you know, we're printing on a piece of wood. It's not fabric. It's not going to absorb too much. So we don't want to have too much ink on there to where it might start mixing or pulling into each other. So we just want a nice thin layer of white ink, kind of like a primer base, and then we're going to put our color here on top. Oh, you guys can see there, it did print a little bit below the piece of wood, so my initial measurements might have been right. And I doubted myself on that one. Okay, let's go ahead and send this into print. And you guys can see there, it's starting to put the color down. Alright guys, so that's basically how you print on wood. Once again guys, once it's done, I'm going to put it onto my heat press over here. I'm not going to press it all the way down. I'm just going to let it hover dry for 30 seconds. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and spray my clear coat. If you guys got any questions, please reach out to our tech team here at RICOH. And then we'll see you guys next time. Alright guys, and there is our finished product. Once again, it's a little bit off. My measurement was wasn't quite right. But there you go guys. And that's how easy it is to print some coasters.